and welcome to the 48th episode of the Tiger Highline Online, the number one place to find out what's going on in CF from broadcast students.
The Tiger Den is up and brewing, and Chris, Jacob, and Nolan were there on the opening day.
This week, the Tiger Den officially opened their new coffee shop to students. The coffee shop offers a variety of snacks and beverages, such as granola bars, Rice Krispie treats, coffee, tea, hot chocolate, and bottled drinks like Gatorade. They have multiple flavors of coffee and flavored syrups for all beverages. Prices on these items may vary, coffee being priced at $1.15, and students are able to pay with cash just to make things easy. The Tiger's Den's hours run from 7:30 in the morning to 3:15 in the afternoon. It is primarily a place for students to come and hang out. Many are asking whether or not the food and drinks offered there are any good, so we asked two students for their opinions.
J.R. Knudsen.
Spencer Williams.
So you guys went to the Tiger Den. What do you guys think so far?
Good coffee. I like it.
I think it's really convenient. I mean, a lot of people obviously can't drive, so coffee shop being in the school is pretty.
So the coffee's good?
Yeah.
That's good. Do they have what all do they have?
French vanilla, white chocolate, regular, and they have
Gatorades,
creamers
and stuff too.
Yeah, Gatorades. They have food.
And a bunch of snacks.
Alright. What kind of snacks do they have?
Rice Krispies treats. I don't really know.
Cookies. Sometimes cookies. Sometimes other pastries and granola bars.
Alright, thanks guys.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching this week's Tiger News Report.
The Hearst Center just hosted an event showcasing Cedar Falls High School artists' works. Dean Cizik has put together this slideshow from photos by Ellen Wallenford.
Members of Big House have just returned from a San Francisco trip. Tyler, Trey, and Darrell heard their testimonies of the trip.
Big House is the largest student ministry group in the Cedar Valley, with dozens of area students showing up every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. to continue in their faith. But over spring break, a group of students and leaders went to the extreme with their faith and comfort zone by traveling 2,000 miles to San Francisco, California for a mission trip. 16% of residents in San Francisco are below the U.S. poverty line, with over 6,500 people living on the streets. This special group of people went to help these people and spread the word of God onto the streets of San Francisco.
While we were there was to just engage in conversation with people on the streets through different activities. So for example, we did one called Homeless Sack Lunch, where we all made a sack lunch for ourselves and then made a sack lunch for a homeless person, and we went out that day and had lunch and just sat and talked with the people and gave them their lunch, and we ate with them and just had conversations.
Brett Williams is the youth ministry leader for Big House and led the San Francisco mission trip. Williams and Elizabeth Sesker, who also went on the trip, explained another activity they participated in. It was called the Homeless Plunge.
Homeless Plunge, which they told us the night before we had showered or brushed our teeth or anything, that we wouldn't get to use the showers or our toothbrushes or anything that night.
We went and slept in the bathrooms on the floor, and we could only take what we would carry around for the next day. And then at 6 o'clock in the morning, we left.
We couldn't come back till 3:30 the next day, so that was just really humbling.
The trip also had a slogan that said, "He, me."
A hashtag for Instagram or even Twitter that was he, me, and that comes from our theme verse for the trip was John 3:30. It says that he must increase and I must decrease, and so this idea that Jesus in our lives must increase, and our selfishness, our just kind of this idea of we must decrease so that we can then come share.
I then asked Elizabeth Sesker about this trip and her experience.
I saw God work through myself. I just felt really comfortable sharing about Him and being with people I didn't know, and I just felt like I had a lot of love to give to these homeless people and to share. And I also decided to get baptized on this trip, and that was a super cool way that I could grow in my faith and show to the world that I was a true Christian. So.
This has been Trey Bronner, Darrell Jackson, and Tyler Ferrero reporting for the Tiger Highline.
Michael Fianska got the opportunity to travel to Des Moines to learn how Iowa government works. Shiaka and Mason interview him in this story.
Michael Flansha isn't your ordinary high school sophomore. In fact, just last week, he went to Des Moines as a part of Secretary of the State Matt Schultz's Capital Project.
Michael was one of 20 students that got to partake in this 4-day interactive education program for Iowa sophomores and juniors interested in learning more about the democratic process.
Could you tell us a little bit about the Capital Project?
Well, the Capital Project was a program through the Iowa Secretary of State's office that provided the opportunity for high school sophomores and juniors to experience government in action and learn more about the legislative process.
Michael, how did you take an interest into politics?
Well, my dad has always told me it's important to be informed about what's going on with our government and government policy and how it affects our lives. So it's just been a big part of my life to be informed.
While in Des Moines, we heard you were drafting your own legislation. Can you go in depth and tell us a little bit more about how the whole process was?
Well, the whole process started with coming up with an idea about a bill that we wanted to create, and then you'd have to research the idea and then actually draft the bill and make sure all the components, were included, and it was all very specific. And then the bill went to what's called committee meetings, where it was critiqued and decided if it would move on to floor debate or not. And then if it was approved, then it would move on to floor debate, and then if it passed through the House and the Senate, then it would move to the governor's desk, where it could be either passed or vetoed.
We heard you were able to hang out with Governor Branstad and Lieutenant Governor Reynolds. What was that like?
Well, it was really fun, to meet them in person and listen to them speak. It was nice to have dinner with them and get to see a more personal side of our elected officials.
Can you tell us about how the whole Capital Project experience made you feel? I'd imagine it was a little intimidating.
Going into the Capital Project, I was, a little intimidated at first, that I was going to be meeting with, these important people at our state capitol. And but then when I actually got going and got to meet all my new friends that I made from across the state, and everyone was really nice, and it was a lot of fun. So I would definitely do it again.
What were some fun things from your trip to Des Moines?
Well, I'd have to say, the most fun, besides, learning about the legislative process and experiencing government, was just, making new friends and hanging out with other people that have the same interest as you.
Although Michael has taken a big interest into politics, he's not quite sure about what he wants to do when he gets older.
To anyone that's, questioning applying for a program like the Capital Project and thinking, that they wouldn't be the right fit for them, I have to say absolutely always apply for programs like this, because you'd miss out on a great opportunity if you didn't, and would most likely be a great learning experience like it was for me.
Reporting for the Tiger Highline Online, this was Chiako Bonza and Luke Wheeler.
In this news story, Luke and Chiaka got some testimonies about Good Friday from Nazareth Church members.
Good Friday means to me, it's just like a time when I get to hear all my friends' stories and listen to what they're going through.
It's also a time that friends get to come in, they get to confess all their stories and just whatever goes wrong or whatever happened in their life, and they can just put it up to God and just have a better life.
I'm going to be playing at it and listening to my friends speak.
Wait, what? I'm going to the Good Friday service at Mass, and Good Friday symbolizes a fresh new start because Jesus died for us, and therefore we no longer have sin, basically get a fresh start.
Well, because I volunteer at Big House, I just get to watch all the people be involved in the Good Friday service, and that's one of my favorite parts because it's just a really cool way for students to serve our congregation, and it's really neat to hear the stories about how Jesus is working already in their lives, and so I think I just get to be a spectator this year, but I'm really excited just to hear about what Jesus died on the cross means to each and every one person.
Awesome, thank you. Good Friday symbolizes the sacrifice that Jesus made for us, and I plan to celebrate by going to church.
For the Good Friday service, I'm speaking in Naz, and I'm speaking about my brain surgery, and my God, why do you forsake me? I'm speaking about that verse, and Good Friday means to me the day that God died on the cross for us, then we found out He was alive, and we were all really
Good Friday is the day that we all were saved as sinners. Jesus died the death we all should have died. I'm speaking over the first verse of the last 7 that Jesus said, his Father forgive them for what they're doing. That verse to me is big because we're the ones that pinned Jesus to the cross. He died for us, and as He was dying, He forgave us, which is really cool.
The Good Friday service is 14 students from the Cedar Valley. I'm taking the last 7 words of Jesus. There's 7 at one service, 7 at the other service, and they take the last 7 words that Jesus spoke on the cross and just talk about how those words just have impacted their life, how Jesus has impacted their lives, and just kind of their journey of faith through the cross.
Yeah, so the Good Friday service actually has been going on for almost 30 years, I think. So it's been something that's been going on for a long time in Cedar Valley, and it is a service that's completely student-led, and it's through students of the Cedar Valley. So it's not just one church, but it's a coalition of churches in the Cedar Valley, and it's a student-led service, like I said, and what it is a night where we kind of remember what Jesus did on the cross a few thousand years ago. And we get to hear a powerful part of the service is actually some student stories. We actually take the last 7 things that Jesus had said before going on the cross, and students get to share like a 5-minute testimony about how their relationship with Jesus has affected their life through probably a lot of hard things. And so it's a really powerful service. A lot of people in the congregation, a lot of people that come to the service are really impacted by the stories that get shared, because a lot of people can connect with the things that we wrestle with and struggle with that get shared.
Good Friday is the day that Jesus gave His life for us, and He took the punishment that I deserved so that I wouldn't have to go to the cross so that I could have life, and that's a huge, huge deal. And so to hear students be able to share their stories and their understanding of that in the hopes of helping other people to understand and receive God's love, that's a big, big deal. And so I'm excited and I want to be part of that. So I get to coach a couple of students who are sharing their stories. One of them, the man behind this camera right now, Luke Wheeler. It's been a great thing for us just to even be able to get to know each other a little bit better. That's a really cool thing that's happened with that. And then coaching Delonte Boone as well. He's been a friend of my son's and a friend of ours for years, and so getting him to know his story a little bit better and how God has worked in his life.
Mohammed paroled the halls for this informal survey to answer the great consumer question: should I buy a Galaxy or an iPhone?
In my opinion, I'd have to go with an Android, just I haven't had either of the other two, and it really, it's a good, clean phone. I want to redo this.
Yeah, well, I mostly go with Galaxy. I guess it's just because I've always had a Galaxy and Samsung, but I really like their Play Store and how it is, and it's really clean, and it's got a really good design and interface, so yeah.
I like iPhones more because it's just more convenient, like with the music, and I can have both the music and contacts and just all nicely organized together.
I like the Samsung Galaxies better because the screens are bigger and I think they're a little easier to use.
I would say iPhones are better. I don't know. They have a better network and market and whatnot. Like Android, you can't do as much as you can with iPhone and whatnot, and plus it's like an iPod. So that's what I would say.
I prefer to have the iPhone. I've never had a Galaxy, and the iPhone meets all of my needs.
I have my own iPhone. Don't know much about the Galaxy, so whatever I'm used to, I'm more comfortable with. So I'm going iPhone.
I like the iPhone better than a Galaxy phone because the iPhone, I can download all my music from iTunes, and I'm able to FaceTime somebody and see what they actually look like whenever time I'm talking to them on the phone. And I have had both phones. I mean, the Galaxies are nice. I mean, it's a bigger screen to look off of, but they don't give you the opportunities like what an iPhone does. That's why I like the iPhones better than I do a Galaxy.
Austin, Alec, and Hunter explored the controversy of e-cigarettes in this story.
The topic of student smoking has always been quite controversial, but with the addition of e-cigarettes to the market, more opinions have been created.
Started about when I was probably 12, and my cousin gave me a cigarette by a river that we were just kind of sitting by, and I'd pretend to inhale it, but I never actually started, until about last year, and I just got into kind of what people would say are a bad group of people. They're still very dear to me, but they got me into bad habits, I guess. I don't really plan on stopping anytime soon, at least not until I move out.
Cigarettes, they hurt your lungs, they cause cancer. Basically, they just kill you from the inside out. When an e-cigarette is basically just water vapor, so you're not having the harmful damage of smoke. You're less likely to get cancer from them, and they're a healthier solution to cigarettes.
We've been hearing about and actually experienced a student with an electronic cigarette here at school, and it's a little bit different than anything we've ever experienced. So we called around the state, and several other districts are trying to come up with a policy on how they deal with electronic cigarettes.
Right now, the topic of electronic cigarettes is still fairly new. We don't have policies in place as of yet, but I can see those coming in the future.
I think electronic cigarettes are better because I know that people smoke. I mean, it's just that habit of life that people get into, and I think it's a lot better because it's better for the environment since it's vapor. Not only that, it doesn't have as much of the bad chemicals in it, from what I know. The worst thing about it is because everybody wants to go with that more cheaper buy, and if it tastes the same, then they'll go with just regular cigarettes. But I think they really need to change the system, increase the regular price of cigarettes, and decrease the amount of money for the electric cigarettes.
We haven't formalized what that's going to look like, but other districts are considering that the same as a cigarette, issuing a tobacco ticket, that type of thing. So, not sure what our policy is going to read, but it will be something that we discourage because we don't know what type of materials are in those vaporizers, and we want to try to make sure everybody's safe and healthy here at school.
This has been
Austin Anderson,
Alec Larson,
and Hunter Osman,
reporting for the Tiger Highline.
Here are some of this week's podcasts.
Hey, mister, can I help you?
Well, I'd like a fried chicken platter.
I'm sorry, I can't help you out there. Our food supply's all gone.
Why might that be?
Old Rusty Larry and his gang, they stole all our food supplies.
How about this? I'll get your stuff back if in return I get myself a free fried chicken platter.
Well, yeah, that'd be fine.
Still got a spare room upstairs?
Yeah, but how'd you know?
Just a lucky guess, I reckon. Mind showing me to my room? I need a good rest for the hunt.
Alright, listen here, Weston. Rusty Larry needs this cowboy out of here. So we're gonna go in there, kill him. I don't want no excuses. I don't want to hear you complaining. We're just gonna go in there, alright?
Come on now, Brian. I'm telling you, this ain't gonna be good.
Oh, be quiet. He's sleeping.
What you looking for, son?
Porque?
Why are you here?
Porque, senor?
Now listen here, son. I just heard you speak English. Now why are you speaking Spanish?
Porque? Okay. Rusty Larry doesn't like people asking around about him.
Now, I'll let you and your buddy here live if you let me know where he's at.
Well, he hides in a small town named Cockatoo Orchids. You have to travel through the Red Mountain Forest in order to get there.
I know the place. I battled 92 bandits there and a bear. Hey, horse fella. Wouldn't mind if I borrowed a stallion, would you? Much obliged, gentlemen.
Get that yellow-bellied son of a gun.
My chicken platter came through these pots. Pardon me, ma'am. Where's Rusty Larry?
Is that what you idiots out here call me? My name's Rusty Larry. Your legend means nothing in these parts, stranger.
You the one that ate my chicken platter?
I did, and it was the tastiest platter eaten in all of Cockatoo.
Well then, we got ourselves a problem, partner. How's about we have ourselves a little duel at high noon?
Never seen a man so eager to schedule his own funeral. See you there, stranger.
Las rocas son muy grandes. Muchas personas son chileno y alemán. Aquí la comida incluye pescado, carne, papas y papeles.
Here's your one fried chicken platter to go.
Much obliged.
I just gotta know, how was you able to survive a showdown with Rusty Larry?
Well, the trick is to already be dead, I reckon.
You rode into the sunset like a cactus on a horse, a cowhide getting hero in a dry, dusty place. La lay-yanda, yee-haw, yee-haw, yee-haw. La lay-yanda, yee-haw, yee-haw, yee-haw.
Well, that's it for this week's episode. Be sure to check out our website to see some of our other offerings. And as always, stay classy, CF.